Welcome back to round 4 of AGE May Open. Up next, we've got a Kano versus Dash Inventor Extraordinaire for you. This will be a bit of a difficult match for the Kano player, but I've been itching to cast a Kano ever since I got on the desk here, so I pushed a little bit for this one. Hopefully everyone at home likes it, and hopefully I don't mess up the order of these spells. One of the more difficult matches to cast, as all of these cards come out at instant speed. Sometimes you can lose track.
The stack is so much better organized on like a digital client. When you're doing it in paper, you gotta be concise and represent your game state well. But so don't worry about that.
Anthony,
whose turn is it anyway?
Exactly. So we've got Anthony here on the Dash, Eric on Kano. Anthony Pham came in, I think it was 4th place last month, playing his favorite hero, Dash Inventor Extraordinaire, the original Dash to come out in, I think it was Arcane Rising.
Yeah, both these heroes are from Arcane Rising.
Showing us Arcane Barrier 3 on this side of Dash, and the standard equipment suite, Tunic, on the side of Kano.
Just a standard induction chamber as well as the starting item. Wondering who won the die roll here.
Yep.
Because they have not started quite yet.
Just doing the classic stare down before the game. Making sure to intimidate the opponent.
All clear to play.
And it looks like Anthony is going first. And he's got a lot of boost cards.
Does indeed.
But he also has an induction chamber out. No Teklo Pounder, which sometimes the Dash players like to start with when they're going especially aggressive.
Yeah, because you can just boost down Kano and basically race him.
Yep. So it looks like Anthony is kind of splitting the difference here, putting a counter on the induction chamber and the pistol and passing it over to Eric after arsenaling a card.
Keeping a twin drive in hand.
And we see 3 reds and a yellow, so not a lot of options to barrier. Eric running one of those beautiful new cold foil E-pots that were available at the Pro Tour Los Angeles. Sending over a wildfire. Just coming in, this is his turn, so the wildfire text is not active, just 5 damage once you account for the weapon there, and plays out his energy potion and arsenals his last card.
Honestly, not a bad turn. Just like do a bit of chip with a tall arcane spell and just play a potion. Pass.
Yeah. Ooh, high octane. Really good if you have the resources to support it. I don't know that Anthony does. He has a...
See, I just saw a smirk from him as if like, do I have everything I need to pull this?
I think he wishes he had a blue, so goes ahead and boosts, hits his second copy of high octane. Coming with a throttle. 5 go again.
I suppose he's glad he didn't draw a high octane to a high octane, because that's not very good.
No, you don't want to see that.
And like chipping pistol damage, you know, every point that you can get an action point to is 2 damage. So that's like a good rate even into Kano.
Yeah. Now that he's pulled 2 cards out of Eric's hand, he feels a lot safer to send the rest of his hand. Doesn't need to hold that blue back.
Goes with a pistol shot first. Interesting. Maybe he's keeping the cards in hand to use that spark. But we'll see. Teklo Foundry. Oh. Unfortunate that this is going to be the only high octane from Anthony. I would not be happy with the cut of that deck, but he's got to make the most of it.
4 resources now. A lot more to work with than he had before. And he goes ahead and boosts twice. Ooh. Losing a maximum velocity, a card that he may have liked to see this turn if he could. But gaining up to 3 action points here, which makes it very likely that we will see him try to use that Spark of Genius to tutor up an item. And there it is. So this will use an action point to allow him to search his deck for an item and draw a card since he has boosted this turn. A very, very efficient card for Dash, searching up those items.
Yeah, he's contemplating the Teklo core
Buying the
versus...
Teklo core. Resources being very, very important against Kano. You don't want to be caught without resources. And it looks like, yep, Teklo core is the choice. 2 counters on that. That'll allow him to start each turn with 2 resources addition to anything that he pitches.
And he's done the maths perfectly because he's got 2 pistol shots, 2 action points. So another 4 that he can chip here on Eric.
That was a very, very good turn from him. Just very efficient, pushing a lot of damage and building up a board.
Wonder if that arsenal will be helpful to him. Pistol for 2, sir.
And Eric takes it down to 20. Kano, of course, starting at 30 life instead of the typical 40. One of the drawbacks of playing a wizard is that you don't get as much health to work with throughout the game.
What did it? Draw here. Oh, 0 to 60 yellow. That's not the worst. It's still a 0.
Yep. So he's choosing to arsenal that rather than play it this turn, probably for 2 reasons. The first, that he could potentially stop any arcane damage, and the second is that he can still use it next turn. Swell Tidings coming out now, boosted by 1 damage thanks to the Aether conduit.
I think Anthony is so relaxed seeing this because he's got an entire blue that he can give to this card.
Yeah.
Eric just gets a bit of chip out of him, but he's got a Teklo core that's popping for 2 resources. Like, he's golden.
Yeah, I think the chip is very, very important for Eric's game plan since Anthony has so much arcane barrier. He needs to get him lower than he typically would another opponent in order to guarantee lethal.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like a similar amount of blues comparable to like Guardian, except that Dash has like a far greater damage output and has like spike turns, like we just saw with I've forgotten the card already. Not Max.
The high octane.
High octane.
Yeah, it's a tough one. So yellow 0 to 60 coming out, coming in for 3 boosted. So it has go again, and he's blocking with the Blazing Aether. So once again, whenever we see Eric give a card up early like this, he's basically saying, I will not go this turn. And those are 2 very powerful cards.
Yeah, Blazing Aether.
Probably seeing them in the same hand is what causes Eric to decide to block with them.
Yeah, two good reds, but
Yep.
you know, they're not worth all that much when they're in hand and not ripped off the top of the library.
Yep. And so his plan is to just play that Swell Tidings and chip in again at the end of this turn, taking 2 from the pistol. And looks like
What else can Anthony rock here?
he's
still operating on a completely pitchless hand because he's still got 1 floating resource.
And 0 to 60 boosting. This is 4 go again.
Screw 'em boost, as we say.
And Eric takes the 4. Last card in hand from Anthony is a blue. And he chooses to use the Teklo Foundry Heart.
Probably for a reload and a re-equip on
So he gets
induction.
to shoot that pistol 1 more time.
Maybe not the one-sided that you might expect when you hear Kano versus Dash, but if you know the matchup, you know that this isn't a thing to be a stranger to.
Yep, 6 more damage coming in. Anthony's got the blues in hand. Is just going to cover 3 of that, go down to 29. 29 to 10. This is starting to feel a little rough for Eric. If Eric gets put in a spot where he's forced to give up cards in hand to survive before he's ready to go, he's in a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure what is in his arsenal at the moment, but this hand here, 3 blues and a tome, could be something worth holding. As he gives a piece of armor, thinks about blocking, and says no blocks. Taking 2.
Well, he's not going to give his tunic. Yeah, that thing's got 3 counters on it.
Yep. There's another T-bone. Given up. Blocking with another 0 block. So both of these pieces of armor will not break as they don't have any block value or
Very
blade break.
true.
You just get to cover these up. Well, not cover anything, but take up the trigger without really any damage being done to the armor suite.
But Eric is really losing and like running out of life to bargain with, so he's going to block on top of it
Okay,
instead.
gives 3 block here, saying, I don't think I've got what it takes to go just yet.
Take low Foundry Heart.
Yep. Going up to 2 resources.
Payload's pretty nasty in this match.
Shooting the gun. Giving it go again.
Oh. Anthony thinking, do I spark for 0 or do I spark for more? Because he holds a blue, that sprocket rocket.
Yeah.
Reloads.
And there's the spark.
And then he's passing priority over because Eric does get a window here. So Anthony isn't probably... He'd like to Arsenal the blue, or he'd like to Arsenal whatever he draws to the draw from Spark after tutoring, but
yeah,
he's holding back a blue. Like, he's giving a lot of respect and playing relatively conservatively.
Mm-hmm. I think he really understands this matchup quite well.
Yeah.
Not only is he holding a blue here, but he's also...
Signal Jammer.
Signal Jammer. This card is not what Eric wants to see. So now for the next 2 turns, Eric is only allowed to play 1 non-attack action per turn, including on his opponent's turn. So even though he's playing these non-attack actions at, quote, instant speed,
they are still non-attack actions.
Exactly, non-attack action. So you can't just Kano ability to get out of this. And you can see Eric sitting here thinking, uh-oh, this could spell the end of it. He needs to somehow survive for 2 turns while that Signal Jammer jams his signal, keeps him from doing what he wants to do.
Does he Kano just before end phase to see?
And you can see already this really, I think he's wishing he blocked with more cards because he's not going to be able to do much. Even with this Sonic Boom, even if this hits, you see that little shake of his head. Even if this hits him, he won't be able to play the card that it looks at the top. It's absolutely backbreaking. Signal Jammer, one of the best cards you can bring into this matchup. One of the reasons I think Mechanologist is the toolbox deck is that they've got tools like this to just absolutely shut you down.
Interesting. He values his Potion of Deja Vu far more than like just a bit of chip that
right.
He's basically chancing for with the Sonic Boom. So he left it in banished and went, no, I will leave it there.
And so now he just needs to make sure to take as little damage as possible on this turn.
Anthony leads with pistol, which is interesting.
I think just hiding information.
Absolutely, actually.
Blocking 3.
A little awkward now because Anthony has hit a bunch of blues and is boosting some reds, but
that Signal Jammer still stays around until the start of Anthony's next turn, which is pretty difficult. Eric has to deal with this for 2 turns in a row.
Oh, the zipper hit that he got from the Spark draw.
Yeah. Eric taking 2. Down to 2. I'm sorry, taking... Yeah, 2. Ugh.
This threatens lethal if he goes with popping Achilles, because he's got 2 resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a real pain in the backside for Eric.
Yeah.
Signal Jammer is like a clear hate card in this matchup.
Yeah, he's... Can't imagine much of a worse spot for a Kano to be in than 2 life and a Signal Jammer on the board.
And it's not even just a 1 copy, it's 2 for Anthony.
Down to 1.
Oof,
and then he gets 1 more pistol.
Achilles,
So
yeah, that's
he just
all she
ends
wrote.
him right there. Okay, good game, well played. Unfortunate that, it seemed like everything went the way Anthony wanted it and nothing in the way that Eric did. overall, still a great match. Well played by both of them.
Jaw on the floor. Wow, what a way for the game to end. You're right, chat, yeah. Oh, pardon me, maybe that was the last game.
Oh, yeah, true.
I made the error.
It was a quick one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come up in a minute once we get the interview squared away. Listen to how Anthony Pham's doing today. And then, yeah, we'll get back to you shortly.
See you in just a bit. And look who we have here. We're back.
Oh, high quality. I like this. Hey, hey, I'm back.
How's it going, man?
Going great. I'm 4-0 right now, so I'm ecstatic to be doing well. I didn't play too many pro quests, so I'm glad I still got it.
You got it. No, you definitely got it. I mean, I hadn't seen that matchup before because I don't get to spectate all of these Kano games. I usually get just blown out because I play slow heroes only, apparently.
Decks that innately do bad in the Kano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talk us through some of the matchup and what we saw in that game right there. Like,
yeah, for sure. Originally, Dash into Kano has always been kind of Dash favored. It still, I think, is. But with the introduction of Pitch Stack Kano, with testing with my team and everything, we found that Pitch Stack Kano does can fatigue Dash if they're just full boosting. So because he gave me the option to go first, I elected to go first and use Induction Chamber to kind of combat fatigue if he's playing Sync Below, Favor Scene, Oasis even. But he wasn't on that, but I was still able to get a Technical Core out early and just negate the resource deficit and just still use the Induction Chamber well. It's just basically try to get there before they get you. Just full boosting. I do have some cards in the sideboard to help with that. Signal Jammer being like a great card because
that really stood out in that game.
Yes. So I run 2. It's good in Azalea because it doesn't let her pump, but it also has side hit into Kano to prevent them from comboing. And if you get it off Spark, they have to respond to the Spark, or else once the tutor finishes and it comes into the field, you can't respond anymore. So you can't combat that if you let Spark resolve.
Yeah. And hence why you were stopped from the Spark tutor, waiting to draw your card because he has that window.
Exactly, yes. So the first Spark I did Technical because it was a little too early to get Signal Jammer.
Yeah.
You want to kind of get it when they're around 10 health or below just because you want 2 turns of freedom to just go at them. So the first one was Technical Core. It allowed me to get extra resources and to keep swinging. And then the second one, I had a blue in hand, so I just sparked with a blue for backup if he decided to go off. He didn't know that I had Signal Jammer, so he let it resolve, and then I was able to put it out. Now he cannot go off anymore, and I get 2 free turns to kill.
It was pretty amazing, and you were still playing like rather conservative by leading with pistol with core resources.
Yeah.
So you're basically like fishing for what he has in his hand and what he'll work with.
Yes.
Which is really efficient.
Yeah, you always want to lead with pistol if you can, especially if you have induction, just because it's 2 damage. If they don't block it, they just took 2. If they do block it, you get 1 card out of hand. It's just that's good.
And we saw the high octane like early, but then it on the boosts, it banished the other 2. So
yeah, I think my first 3 boosts were high octane, pulse wave harpoon.
Max V.
Yeah, so when I'm keeping these cards in hand, I'm keeping them and playing reserve just to be able to combo more with Max V, combo more with high octane. And the fact that both high octanes were gone, and I only ran 1 Max V just because you don't want too many in your deck against Kano. It'll clump.
Interesting.
So I took 2 out. So knowing that I didn't have Max V, I didn't have high octane anymore, I could just boost freely without having to wait or like play slower to try to find the combo pieces.
Okay.
So it was bad. Obviously, I want those cards to be able to kill Kano, but
You still got there in the end.
yeah, it allowed me to play more freely and just like go boost instead of like having to worry whether or not I want to arsenal this 0 to 60 or get this 4 damage in now.
What, you had like 4 pistol shots from that high octane, so it still paid dividends.
Yes, it did. It was good stuff.
Okay, maybe we have a chat about the case tournament that you're putting on
Yes.
at the store.
For sure. So Kingstar Games in Fountain Valley, we are hosting a case tournament for Part the Mistveil the weekend that it comes out. So on June 1st, we'll be able to go to Kingstar Games in Fountain Valley. That's a Saturday. You'll be able to get out there. So it's going to be classic constructed for Swiss. So you get to play your favorite CEC hero, possibly the new Part the Mistveil heroes. They will be legal since they come out that Friday. And then in top 8, you'll abandon your CC deck and you're going to play Part the Mistveil Draft.
Interesting.
So that's going to be very fun. A lot on the line. You can get a lot of the new cards that weekend. So feel free to come through. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I can guarantee I won't get all of my cards that I want for new for that weekend, so I'll probably play, I don't know, Azuri.
Hey,
Or
you
something.
never know.
And
you
then
know?
play new in the draft.
If
sure.
you're able to open like 10 cases and get your new deck all ready to go for Saturday, you'll probably have an edge up. And then you'll win a case and you're like, why did I just buy 10? I just got one for free.
I just pulled all the legendaries that I would have, opened in this case anyway.
Yes. So yeah, come through. It's going to be a big display of who can play draft, who can play CC. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, mixed format is fun.
Yeah.
And skill intensive.
Oh yeah.
Anything else you want to say? Any shout outs today?
Yeah. Shout out to Chris Iali. That was a really well fought round one. I told him in the car that he said he was going to play Kasai, and I told him he was going to play Talon round one, and somehow Justin made that happen. So we're age team down tremendous, but I'm up tremendous because he lost to Riptide and he talked so much shit into it.
I mean, Chris is going to remember to have his ducks in a row.
Oh yeah.
And to bring his medal next time.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, I think he needs to win out to stay on the medal.
Oh yeah. He's out there somewhere. He's right there, playing right there. Look at him go. He was so focused. I came up to talk to him, and he said, just basically, get out of my face. So.
Very, very good teammates.
Yeah.
Right there.
We love each other. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that said.
Thank
luck
you.
on that.
Yeah, always a pleasure being on the cast with you guys.
Yeah, well done on Undefeated. And,
Come to locals. Come
take
to
a little break.
locals.